food. So I'm going to show you some of what I've prepped so far. Let's see, I've been prepping a lot of potatoes today. I'm not sure if they're all ready, not quite. I should have called this the mother load of batch prepping today, because I did a ton of chickpeas. That was 4 cans. And I'm just going to give them another minute. I'm just tossing them around a little bit. They have, the recipe for the chickpea nibbles is in the description of the video. These ones, I never measure this anymore, guys. I put the chickpeas on, and then I put the seasonings on, and then it's into the oven. You can do whatever you want with it pretty much. I usually add an acid, lemon juice, lime juice, a vinegar, some kind of salty component being tamari or vegan Worcester sauce or salt. And then I usually add something that adds just a touch of sweetness, not a lot, like a little bit of maple syrup or coconut nectar. You could use ketchup. So I just kind of combine things into the oven. You can also do spices. Smoked paprika is really nice on these. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to add some. Smoked paprika is really, really nice. And dried herbs are nice. It's kind of whatever you want to do with it. And I'm just going to mix that around. And they take about 20-25 minutes. If you want them really crispy, leave them in longer. Actually, I'm seeing these are really nice. I'm only going to give these about another 5 minutes. And my oven's up pretty high today because I'm baking potatoes. Give those another couple of minutes. And I've seen some comments. Hi, Carolyn. Nice to see you. Hi, Katie. Hey, Molly. Molly is one of the admins in our Plant Power Families group. If you're not there, go over to, just search groups, Plant Powered Families. It's a private group, a really, really supportive group of people in there. If you want to just learn about eating vegan more, plant-based, anytime someone gets on with nonsense, we kick them out. That's how it goes in our group, okay? So if you're kind of tired of that business of people shaming and getting on with a lot of nonsense in groups, we don't tolerate it, so. Okay, and I've baked up a lot of sweet potatoes. They are still kind of cooking, so I'm leaving them in for a minute, and I'm going to leave the chickpea nibbles. Okay, so I'm going to start with my daughter's lunch, and because I still have a lot of those Silver Hills tortillas I bought last week, so if you watched my video last week, these were on special at the store, Silver Hills, and I bought quite a few of them, and they freeze really nicely. And these are great for lunches, for anything, you know, you want to have tortillas for. They're smaller than standard tortillas, but they're sprouted, and they're just really nice and pliable. This is a turmeric one. You don't taste the turmeric in this at all. And I'm sure, like, medicinally, it's probably not doing much, but it's pretty. It's really nice and pliable and thin. So I'll probably do 2 of these for her. And I'm using some leftovers today. So this is the link I forgot to put in the description, which I will put in. First I buy these dates all the time at President's Choice Superstore, which is Loblaws in Canada. They're also at Walmart. You've probably seen them in stores. They're pitted dates. They're really nice and soft. I use them for all of my recipes. And no, I'm not getting paid, but it's Parnouche dates, pitted. And the containers are great to reuse and reuse. So just a tip on what that container is. So I had leftovers of this that I made. It's Spanish rice, and it's on my site. Only thing is it looks different from the recipe on my site because I didn't add the corn to it. I think, you know what, I think I had corn. It was in the deep, deep of the freezer. I didn't want to dig for it, so I was just like, screw that, I'm not putting corn in it. And that's how it goes sometimes. So she doesn't love red peppers. I know a lot of kids don't like peppers. I think it's that there's like sort of a bitterness around the skin, like even when they're cooked, there's a tiny, it's like a tannin or something in the skin, and I think that's what they don't like. I think if you could take the skins off them, they might enjoy them more. But I will try to, yes, pick around these skins. Now, so I'm going to use that in the tortilla. If I was making this in the morning, I'd probably put some avocado in there because it would go really, really nicely, right? But because I'm making it the day before and avocado is going to oxidize, I'm not going to use avocado. I'm going to pop these in the oven for just a minute to warm them up. Just to make them a tiny bit more pliable. So, what I use in that case, last video I showed you how to use sweet potato, and you use cooked sweet potato and just mash it onto the tortilla. It adds that layer of like sticky something to hold the ingredients. Another great thing to use is nut cheese. But if your school has, which most do, restrictions for nut products, then you can't use those. Now our kids all through school, I could not use nut products for them in lunches. Not until this year. So that's been a long time of not using nuts, nut butters, anything in their lunches. So I got used to using other things, which I talk about in Plant Powered Families. I don't think I have the book handy, but I have a whole section on packing lunches and making them nut free. Sometimes when I want to use that quality for bread or tortilla, something to hold it sticky, I'll use a sliced vegan cheese. They're more processed, but they work a charm for this kind of thing, and kids love them, and they're nut free. So it works really well for, you know, school lunches. Now I know some people don't want to use the more processed cheeses. Fine. Like, I'm not policing that. You do you. You want to use the vegan cheeses, great. You don't, you only want to use very minimal processed things, that's cool too. I use them sometimes in the kids' lunches and they work really well. So of course Daya is probably one of the most popular ones, and I know a lot of people really love it or really don't like it. So I think it's really popular with kids. It's kind of like that mild cheese slice flavor. It's not something I go for myself, but kids do like it. However, I've just found another option. So our daughter, I sent her to Vegan Supply. We have Vegan Supply locally in Surrey, and they're online. So you can order things online with Vegan Supply, and they carry, of course, all vegan products, like everything from ice creams to chocolate to snacks to, you know, vegan cheeses. So they carry the Miyoko's brand, and I thought this was nut-based because all of Miyoko's products that I've known to date have been nut-based. And I was looking at it this morning, and I'm reading the ingredients, and it's made with oat milk and, ooh, I gotta get the tortillas. Sorry, I just remembered, and I don't want to leave them in too long, or as you know, they get crispy and they're useless. Well, for rolling. These are made with beans and oat milk. Who knew? That is, like, that's blowing my mind right now. I'm looking at it and I keep looking for cashews or almonds, and it is not in here. I would love for her to actually put nut-free on this so that people who have nut allergies could see that. That's really useful for everyone who is looking for the nut-free cheeses. It does have oil in it. Most vegan cheeses, especially the processed ones, do. But I think this is a super nice option. So that's Miyoko's cultured vegan farmhouse cheddar, and it says on the top made with oat milk and beans. So there you go, learn something every day. Charlotte bought these on a whim. I sent her out to get some of those amazing snack squares that I showed in my last video. Midday squares, did you guys see that one? They're so good, I'm totally hooked. It's a done deal for me, sorry. I'm gonna spend a fortune on them. She bought a case and you can get like 10% off when you buy a case there. So this is the Miyoko's cheese melted. It is not super stretchy. It's a little stretchy, it's not super stretchy. So what I'm doing is I am just using a knife, and I took this out of the oven a few minutes ago. It's actually gotten a little too chilled, so I'm gonna pop it back in. This is how it goes. Oh, while I'm at it, I will pull out the chickpeas. And guys, if you have questions, ask them, and I will go at the end of the video. I'll get to your questions, I promise. And Hi, Denise. Yeah, Molly. Yes, our group has amazing members in Plant Powered Families. Molly, if you can add the link to the group, that would be amazing if you're still there. Denise says she wants to join. Yeah, if you can add the link, Molly, like pop to the group and grab the URL, that would be awesome. Thank you. And let's see, I've got the chickpeas out. I also baked up spuds today. So I've done Yukon Golds. This is not as many as I bake up. This is all I had today. It was a bag of 3-pounders, so I baked them. And sometimes I steam them, like through the summer I was steaming them in the Instant Pot. I do love them baked. They have great flavor, and they're like, already I'm smelling them and they smell amazing. Now, when I bake potatoes and sweet potatoes, I pierce white potatoes, as in Yukon Gold, russet, which I don't use as much, red potatoes. I do not pierce sweet potatoes. They ooze. They ooze a ton, like they give off a lot of juices. So if you're baking white potatoes, pierce those, because otherwise they might explode, and it's happened in my oven a couple of times and it's a hell of a mess and it's just not fun to clean. But if you're doing sweet potatoes, don't pierce them. They will ooze all over the pan. So just put them in straight. And I think they're done, so I'll get those too. Here are the chickpeas, all done. Nice and roasty. So what I'll do is I may use some of these in Hope's lunch, but I'll probably just pack these up in Ziploc containers in the fridge, and they'll be there in the fridge for lunches a couple of days in the week, and they can nibble on them, right? And let's check the sweet potato. Yeah, they're done. They're fighting with me today. And this is why I have a wrist support on for how much I'm lifting these things out of the oven. Are the chickpeas canned? Yes, I tend to use chickpeas canned the most because I'm making them so often. If I had to bake or cook dried chickpeas and use them that way, I literally never leave the kitchen if I had to cook everything from scratch. So yes, canned, and opt for BPA-free cans. You know what? There's no shame in that. How long or what temp do I cook the sweet potatoes? It depends on the size. So you can see here, these are little guys. And then these yellow ones are huge, right? Compared. So I usually bake them about 425 or 450. And these will probably take about 40 minutes. These about an hour. So you can check them. The purple ones, so today I did yellow sweet potatoes. Yellows. Don't do what I do. Yellow sweet potatoes. And these in Canada are called yams, oranges. And then I've got some purple ones. And the purple skins are a little heavier, a little thicker, so you actually need a knife sometimes to get into them. Purple. Now these purple ones, if you can see, they're not quite as moist, right? The orange ones are super moist, and depending on, I don't know what the trick is with purple potatoes. Sometimes I get them, they're really, really moist. Other times they're a little dry, but I love them in my salad bowls, and I'll also use them in soups. Well, usually I'll chop them for soups and cook them in the soups raw and then, you know, cute. You could use this in a mashed potato, make a purple mashed potato. You could use this in a wrap, cube it up, like I said, for salads, whatever. Like, it's really delicious. So those are the sweet potatoes and potatoes. And as you can see, if you can see, the sweet potatoes are on a baking tray with parchment because they will drip. When I bake the spuds, I put them right on the oven rack, like the top oven rack, straight up. I don't put them on a baking sheet because I find they bake better, as in more evenly, when they're on the oven rack. The air circulates better around them, so they cook better that way. Okay, so now I'm going to pull out the little bit of cheese that I was melting. Bam. If you had a microwave, you could do that. I don't have one, so I use my toaster oven usually, but because the oven's on, then I'm using that. So there we are. And so it's a little more pliable now. It's not as stretchy as say Daya, or spreadable, I should say, as Daya. But it will coat, and it adds, you know, a little bit of kid flavor that they'll enjoy. There we go. See, it's a little stretchier now. I wouldn't say it'd be great for pizza. I'm thinking for grilled cheese. It'd probably be great for grilled cheese. And I'm not sure how it tastes raw. I don't tend to like raw vegan cheeses unless they are nut cheeses, as in like the spreadable ones. So I've got two spread with some stuff there, with some of the Miyoko's nut-free cheese, which is awesome for school lunches. Like, I find that super, super cool that that's there. And now I'm going to use some of the Spanish rice. And if I see the red pepper, then maybe I'll just pick it out. And I'm just going to spread some of that in there and do little burrito rolls for her. And she'll love this. Sometimes I do tofu in here, sometimes a little potato and tofu. With these tortillas, they're very small, so you can't fill them too much, right? You want to roll these guys. They're not super big. And I might put a tiny bit of sweet potato in here. She likes it. I'm going to take one of these guys, just squish a little bit out. Nice way to get a little extra veg in there too. And then I imagine Ollie's going to come running any second now because somehow he seems to smell sweet potatoes. Okay, and then we're going to roll that. And these are really small, so, you know, not the easiest to roll, but you can do it. So you roll and then you start to tuck in the sides as you go. And boom. Done. Cute, right? And you can cut these. Because they're so small, I'm probably not going to cut them. I'm just going to put them in the lunch container. And this is another one that I had. I don't think I showed this last day. Like I said, Choices one year locally. And I'm having a tea. Grab a tea and join me, guys. It's a matcha latte that I make all the time. And that recipe's on my site. What I like about this one is it's deep. It's lightweight, but it's deep. It's BPA free. And so you can really fill it up if you've got kids with big appetites. You can add a lot in this. So I'm going to put one like that, then do the other one. And tucking it in first, begin to roll, then tuck in the edges. So this goes for any burrito. If you're making bigger burritos, this is also the way you do it. Tuck and roll. Sounds like an exercise. It is. It's an exercise in food prep. Oh, I have to show you. We got these at the garden store. A mini pitcher plant. Not pitcher plant. Venus flytrap. Check that. Check that out. I'm hoping it's going to live and get bigger. The gal at the store told me they can get quite big and they'll eat fruit flies. And when we got one, because my daughter got one too, it had a little house fly in the trap. It was super cool. You have to keep it in water all the time. So I'm going to fill it up with a bit of water. A little off track there, but I have it next to the compost. I'm thinking in my head that it's picking up all the fruit flies. I don't know. That's what I'm telling myself. Okay, so now I'm going to add some crunchy veg and some fruit to her lunch. So that's her lunch. I also made last night some potato squashers. And I have these coming in the book. They're super easy to make. So I have some leftover potato squashers, and they're all like crispy. I might put these in here, but I'm thinking she'd rather have these heated up. So I may leave these and give them to her. She's at swim now when she gets home for lunch. But that'd be nice in there too as a side, and you could put a dip in there. So lunches, I'm going to do some mandarin. And I peel the fruit for the kids. I just figure, you know what, when they're little. So this is not a great mandarin. This one's really dry. Sometimes that happens. You could always use it in a smoothie. Throw it in the freezer and use it in a smoothie. When they're dry, I'm just going to check this one. Yeah, this one's better. That one's juicier. So if you get them like that and they're dry, you know, you can chuck it or just throw it in the freezer for, like I said, for smoothies. Or you could try to juice it a little bit, use it in a salad dressing. So I thought I'd just cut some of the pulpy bits off that, and I'm gonna add some grapes, which are really nice right now. They're really, really crunchy. The green ones are amazing. Oh my gosh, they're so good right now. And I'll put some veg in there too. I don't have a fancy chef's knife, guys. I have this kind. I'll get myself a good one perhaps, but I like this because it self-sharpens, and there you go. So I'm gonna put a few cucumber rounds in there, and maybe a few carrots. You know, sometimes she comes home from lunch and the veg aren't eaten, but sometimes she's nibbled on a few. And the thing is with school lunches, they don't get a lot of time, right? Like, I noticed when they went to elementary, my kids, they start eating supper super quick. Like in the evenings, they started to eat more quickly. And it's because I think when they're in school, they get used to having to eat their lunch faster. Sometimes, the school my daughter's in now, it's better, but I know when the older girls are in school, they sometimes have like 10 minutes to eat lunch. And when they're, or 15 minutes, and when they're 5, 6, 7, they don't get through lunch. And so if you have younger kids in school, and you're noticing their lunch boxes are coming home a little bit full or just nibbled, hang tight. It's the beginning of the year. It will get better. They'll learn how to manage their time, and they'll learn how to eat. I hate to say it a little faster, but they will. So just try not to get upset about that. So I'm going to throw a few carrots in there. And you know, kids love dippers. So I have a Caesar dressing that I made last night. This one came with the kit. This little one came with the kit, which is handy. But I also bought a bunch of these little guys, and they're handy for just sauces. And I made a Caesar dressing, and she loves it. She's like big into Caesar dressing last night. We had Caesar salad last night, and she was like, woohoo, Caesar salad. So, and I do have a nut-free Caesar in my ebook, my plant powered dressings ebook. If you have it, I know a lot of you guys do. If you don't, it's on my site, but if you do, yeah, check that out. There, so I'm going to put that in there, and then she's got a dipper for her veggies. And then I might put a little treat in, a little treat for her. She loves gummies, like vegan gummies. I'm just trying to think what else. I'll think about it and then I'll come back to it. Okay, now I'm going to make my lunch bowl. I'm just seeing a couple of questions. Denise says she made great soup recently that she loved. It was autumn wild rice soup with sweet potatoes. That sounds great. I don't use wild rice nearly enough. I think because it cooks, like takes longer to cook. It takes often about 55 minutes, 60 minutes, whereas short grain brown rice or just regular brown rice will cook in 35 minutes. But it's so good to vary up those grains. And that sounds like a really nice combination because wild rice is very nutty and earthy, and sweet potatoes are sweet. And it's like a really nice flavor balance. If you found that recipe online and want to share the link for everyone, Denise, go right ahead. I don't mind. Go ahead and add it. Okay, so my lunch bowl, I'm just going to move this stuff aside. I'm going to put this back in the fridge, the leftover Spanish rice, which also freezes super well. I might put a chocolate pudding in her. She loves these Bell Soy puddings. Do you guys get these or know of these Bell Soy puddings? But she tends to love the vanilla, not so much the chocolate. So I might put this in there, or I may put some gummy bears. These are a new brand of gummy bears, and it says vegan right on there. Whoops, right where? Where is it, Trina? Right there. It says vegan right on the package, which is really cool. And yeah, so usually if I put these in, I'll just put them in a little container or maybe wrap up 4 or 5 and pop those in there. So I'll do one of those things. Denise has added that really beautiful sounding soup, Cozy Autumn Wild Rice Soup. It looks lovely in the photo. So guys, if you want to check that one out, it's in the comments here. Okay, so getting back to my lunch bowl. So, as I've told you guys, I do a lunch bowl most days. Oh, I'm putting this in the fridge and I'm gonna leave the cover off it a little bit like this. Make sure these guys cool down fully. It's only the cheese that was warm really. But if it's warm and you put the top on, everything, you get all that condensation building. It makes the tortillas soggy, the fruit not so great. So let it cool down in the fridge like this. And then if there's any condensation, wipe it off and then fully close it over. Just noticed I'm loving all the oat products that are out right now, like the Miyoko's cheese we have that is oat based and nut based. But I bought an oat yogurt yesterday. It's awful. I'm not going to tell you the brand because I won't do that, but it's awful. I don't know how some things get to the market, and it's disappointing that when you have these products out there and you're excited to try them and you're excited to share them. But if someone was new to vegan and they see that and they're like, I'm going to try it, and they taste it and then they think, wow, this is what vegans are eating, this is gross. It's not. That's not what we're eating. I would suspect that this brand, it's a new line, maybe it just won't last very long. I know there's good oat products out there, so if you try something and you don't like it, don't sort of, paint all of them with that brush thinking they're all going to taste that way. Even within a type of product like oat milk, they can taste quite different by brand. So, Katie's asked, what do you do with all the sweet potatoes? And Yellow Gold directly, awesome question, because I do have a lot. I'll tell you that Bridget, our middle daughter, she's 15, she loves sweet potatoes. When she comes home from school, she'll often get a bowl for herself or a salad or toast, and she'll put the sweet potato, like make sandwiches with it. It's awesome in sandwiches. And sometimes she'll do leftover rice, add the sweet potato, guacamole, or avocado. She loves tomatoes, she'll throw those in there. I do a lot of baked goods with sweet potatoes. I have them on my sweet potato muffins. I use them in salad dressings. In fact, I'm going to use one on my salad today. And I use them in my lunch bowls. And also I did a video, when did I do that one? Maybe 2 weeks ago, where I stuff them, slice them in half, scoop out a little bit of the inside, just a little bit, and top them up with a filling. So there's all kinds of things you can do with them, right? I just love having them handy. Denise says you can use coconut milk instead of dairy for vegan. Absolutely. And especially in some recipes, coconut milk works especially well. Like where a heavy cream or whipped cream is being used, then coconut milk is your perfect substitution. Denise says, can we order from Vegan Supply in the US? Yes, you can. That's my understanding. You'll have to check with them, but I'm pretty sure you can. Pretty sure they ship worldwide. The only thing is with things like cheeses, you'd have to order a cold pack, and I'm not sure what your shipping is going to be. But give them an email and ask them, and I would think that there might be something in the US that you can order from as well, maybe Vegan Essentials. But yeah, ask them. They're really great people, and they got a lot of goodies there, lots. They're adding things every week. Okay, I'm off track. I'm gonna get back to my salad bowl. So this is lettuce I washed up and spun last night. I'm barely getting to my latte, so I have to have a few sips. I don't drink coffee. I don't like the flavor, but I make matcha tea lattes all the time, and those I love. And if you go to my site, that is there. But I've been buying the matcha mixes. Okay, I'm going to show you one. This is a matcha mix, and it's made with coconut milk powder, and it's yerba mate, mint latte with matcha and probiotics. So that's one I just tried. It's not my favorite. I have tried others that I like more, but it's nice because it has a little bit of sweetener in it, and it has some, usually they have some vanilla flavor in there too. So you can kind of play along, or what am I saying? Play along. No, you can kind of customize what you want to do with it. All right, salad bowl. Lettuce. This is red leaf lettuce. We still have a little bit of lettuce growing in our garden, but not much. Well, it's time of year. And I'm going to add a bit of celery. And I showed this in another video where I tend to try to strip it. Sometimes it doesn't work, but let's see. Celery is not just for soups, but I know a lot of people don't like it, so sometimes I do this just to get some of the real stringy bits off it. There, like that. It's very good for your liver too. And I know that because I used to see a TCM doctor, and every time I'd go, he'd say, your liver pulse is low. And I'm just like, what? He says, your liver pulse is always low. And I'm like, I'm not drinking. I don't know why. And he says, eat more beets, which I don't love. Celery, beet, greens. And he gave me tonics for it. But that's why I know celery is good for your liver. I'm going to add, so the Spanish rice that I had left over, I warmed it up in a little bowl like so. So when I was cooking all that stuff, I just popped that in the oven. Again, if you have a microwave, you know, this would take a couple of minutes, but I usually do it in the toaster oven. Since I had things in the oven today, I warmed it up like that. So it's not stinking hot now, I can touch it, but I'm just literally gonna dump it in my salad. This is not fancy, it goes like this. Boop. Done. Stubborn. And I want more veg though. I like a lot of veg in my lunch bowl, so cucumber. This is an English cucumber, so they don't have as many seeds as the field cucumbers, but if you want to cut them out, you know, you can. It's kind of your call what you want to do with it. You guys see that, or the grapes in the way? They're really nice grapes though. I mean, they're so crunchy. I miss it when grapes go out of season, because the organic grapes, we only get them from about June to, I'd say, February, March, and then regular grapes are out, like conventional, but I won't buy conventional grapes. There's certain things I always buy organic, and grapes, that's one of them. And whoops, in Canada they might come in, but they're like $12 a pound. I'm not kidding, $12 a pound for grapes. Around Christmas time, grapes organic will be about $12 a pound, so that is crazy pants, and I miss them a lot through the winter. Okay, and my lunch bowl is here. I'm gonna get that sweet potato dressing I made. Or did Charlotte eat it? No. So Charlotte's been loving my sweet potato dressing, and she always uses it. She uses it on, I'll tell you how she uses this, and I reuse my jars all the time. This is from coconut butter, and she uses this dressing on avocado toast. She'll make her toast with avocado and drizzle it over the top. So, you know, everyone's got their thing. I think she likes it because I usually put a little smoked paprika in it, and she loves that with the avocado. But what I did for this one was I took my 24 karat gold dressing, which is on my site again, and instead of using raw carrot, I just chucked some cooked sweet potato in there, and I modified. So I may have used more sweet potato than I would have carrot, I think I did, and just added a little more water and play with the seasonings. And it's really thick and rich and yummy. So, see, this is really thick, right? You could thin it out, but I quite like a thick dressing. Look, show you the salad again. I like dressings and dips, so there you are. And this one is oil-free. I put some tahini in it. And yeah, the dressing again, 24 karat gold, is on my site. And it's in my dressings ebook, which I'll also put a link to after. And then I could put some purple sweet potato on it. I may do that after, but that's it. That's my salad bowl. So I'm just going to check and see if there's any questions here. I don't think so. Looks like I covered them. And so that's it. I'm going to clue up the video because I tend to go really long, and I know for some people it's just too long. So thank you for joining, and I'll do another one maybe next weekend. I'll see. Enjoy the recipes. Have a beautiful Sunday, and maybe I'll see some of you in yoga tomorrow. Okay, bye. Have a great one.